Rings is a delayed reboot of the earlier Ring and Ring 2, which was based on the Japanese movies Ringu, which was based on the book. And this movie is much better than it has any right to be, but it doesn't really have anything new to offer. And it's very tired and it's basic.
You've opened up a door, and now no one is safe.
So I can remember watching the Japanese subtitled Ringu with my brother, who had, I can't remember if he found a copy of it or downloaded it or imported it. I can't remember exactly where I was, but I remember watching it with him, and we both really loved it. And when the American version came out, Ring, it was also very good. It has some beautiful cinematography and decent acting, and it was fun. It was kind of original story, and it was well done. But then the Ring 2 came out, and it was a piece of shit. And since then, we really haven't had much. So for some reason, they decided to reboot it instead of making something new. So if you've never heard about the Ring story, it's basically that this girl, Samara, was killed by her adoptive parents, and they dunked her into a well, but she lived for 7 days before she died, and then she's kind of has a supernatural powers, and now if you watch this video, you get called on the phone, and you have 7 days to live, and you see visions and stuff around, and then at the end of 7 days, if you don't copy the video and show it to someone else, Samara comes out and kills you somehow. They never really show it, but that's the basic story. It's kind of like a urban myth sort of thing, and it was fun when it first happened, when it was talked about, and it was an interesting idea. But at this point, it's tired. It's played out. And they still, because it's a reboot, they still have to try to explain everything. And it's just, that part of the movie is pretty boring. And, the whole idea, the setup for the story is really long and really stupid. So basically, there are these, a pretty couple, which they're decent actors, but they're just there because they're pretty. And honestly, they're almost 30. They're in their late 20s. But they're playing high school graduates that one of them is going to college and the other is staying home to help out her mom. The weird thing is, the girl, you never see her mom. She never mentioned the mom after that first scene. And she's doing all this stuff and, possibly dying, but she never, even thinks to call the mom or anything. And I found that kind of odd, I don't know what the point of that was. The story could have been exactly the same, if they were in the college together. Basically, this college professor, played by one of the douchebags from the Big Bang Theory TV show, he finds a VCR that he, for some reason, wants to fix up, and for vintage. It's not like a classic. VCRs aren't classic or anything, but of course the VCR has the tape in it, and he decides to use it to try to prove that an afterlife exists along with a soul. And he does this by getting a bunch of college kids for extra credit to watch the film and potentially die. And this part is some of the stupidest parts in the film. And basically, when the girlfriend could not hear him from the boyfriend in college, she decides to come, see him. And she follows the professor around, and he goes into the elevator, and she tries to follow him, and she, hits the elevator, and it goes to the floor number 7, and the elevator won't move. So she had pulled out the key she got from the room, open it, and uses it to go to the floor. And this professor, he is teaching a freshman class, and he's looks like he's 40. So, I doubt he even has tenure, let alone an entire floor to do research by his own. And when they get to this floor, it looks like a club. It's just so weird. And like they're trying to act like they're doing science, but like you don't really see any of the scientific method being used or anything like that. And also they're using like this weird terminology like your tail, and this like they never really explain it or never really makes sense. Especially like I mean they know that I think they know that if they don't watch the show movie with someone else they die. And when you get there, this one girl, it has like 30 minutes to live. And they're like, oh, just go home, make a coffee. We'll send someone over to you. Yeah, you'll be fine. And it's so weird. But when you get actually once you get to see Samara, and this version of Samara is way too based on CGI. Like it's entirely CGI. And there's some interesting takes on it where like it's almost like it's part of the footage, like it's like a little bit of, like feedback on her, and it's kind of interesting. But I really prefer if it's a natural girl like climbing out of the TV and doing stuff. I mean, it looks a lot better to me. And it's also like when the people are dead, like the whole ring face, like that's also like all CGI, and it looks really goofy. But once it actually gets going, I found it entertaining, you know? I mean, despite itself. And, basically it's a play on, the first Ring movie where they're trying to research it and try to, find out what happened to this girl and maybe set her spirit free so she can go to the afterlife or whatever. But of course, as we've seen, she is not a good person, even though she was mistreated. She wants to destroy some shit and kill a lot of people. So, of course, you know what happens. But, I like that some of the stuff is more like the original Ringu, the original source material, because they go to, they have to try to find out her real parents and what happened with them and the history of that. And, I really liked a lot of that stuff. But interspersed throughout the entire movies are horrible fake jump scares that are just absolutely pointless, and I thought we were starting to move away from. But, like, I mean, what's the point of having people that, oh, you're on the video call, like, oh, I'm your roommate, hi, I scare you, oh. And the other time, they even did the one thing where, absolutely pointless, in a scene transition, they popped up an umbrella to like try it with a loud noise to make a jump scare. And what is the point of that? Why do that? And I mean, there's like some of that stuff that, like there's no real scary like jump scares or anything. They're all fake jump scares, and that's what the movie is not really scary at all. But I enjoy the investigation aspect of the movie a lot. The best part of the movie is probably Vincent D'Onofrio. And he comes in playing this blind guy, and that's part of the best parts of the movie, where it almost reminds me of Don't Breathe a little bit, and it's great to see Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays Kingpin in the Marvel Daredevil show. Like he's almost like what would Kingpin have been like if he had Daredevil's powers? Although not as super, but the idea. But there's a lot of cool stuff with that. I had a lot of fun. But again, it's when you get down to it, there's nothing much to the movie. It's just completely generic, completely tired, like really cliche. It's just a basic movie that doesn't try to do anything interesting. Like when I watched the trailers, I thought they were gonna play with the modern age a lot more. Like I thought they're gonna play with like the social media and YouTube and a lot of stuff like that, and surprisingly, very very minuscule amount of that. Like this film could be from 13 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever the last Ring film was, and it wouldn't really tell a difference other than you having to search for a VHS player. And like a little bit like, oh, there's something in this video file. It's bigger. Oh, it's just for you. Oh, how'd that happen? And it's like, that stuff is really goofy. But when they get to like what you don't really see much social media. Like all you see is like to know that it's in the present day is she has a cell phone and she uses the flashlight in the cell phone a couple times. And like in the beginning there's a video chat, and at the end there's a little bit of using social media, but it's just so quick. It's just kind of goofy. And that's what this movie has, the most tired cliche in horror, and that is the double ending. The one, oh, good happy ending, oh, fake, that ending wasn't real ending. And then the epilogue, everything's shit. And I'm so tired of that ending. Especially when they do the Bagul scare. And that is so stupid. It started out, with Bagul, where you see in the videos, you see that guy staring at you when he pops out, and in that movie, at the end of the film, he like pops out at the audience, and that Blumhouse has kind of done that in almost all their horror movies since, and you see a couple other horror movies do it too, and this one has that, and it's just so stupid, and I just don't see it. I mean, I wish they'd stop doing stuff like that. So if you're looking for the kind of brain dead, scary movie that's not scary at all, but has an interesting and kind of like mystery aspect to it, and you like the original Ring films, you might like this, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it. I'd probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10, 6.75 out of 10. And I'm not gonna remember. It's so forgetful. Like I'm not gonna even think about it after I do this video. But it's not a good film, but it's not horrible. Like I said, like it could have been so much worse. And thankfully, I mean, it wasn't a horrible film, but it just, I didn't see a point of it. Like, why reboot it? Why do something new with all that money? But thanks for watching, and you can check out my other reviews here and here. I have 2 different playlists of my movies and my book reviews. So thanks for watching.